Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. A wonderful day, all of you. Welcome to Institute of Global Professional Platform. Thank you for joining us another live session in IGP. I am Kamrul from Bangladesh. Previously, we have completed our 349 webinars successfully. Today, I will be presenting webinar number 350, and the topic is the Orange Activism, a call towards gender and development. Today, Today we have a wonderful speaker from Philippines. Let's welcome our speaker. Hello, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Thank you so much, Sir Kamul. Good evening, sir. And good evening to our fellow global educators, whom we share the 8 p.m. time zone in the Philippines. And good day to the dynamic members of the Institute of Global Professionals who joined us for today's session. I'd also like to greet and say thank you for tuning in the District 17 District Governor Zonshan Shavali Ostanogra, area directors of 6 areas of the Zonta, especially to Dr. Ligaya Tinigal, the area 4 director, the club presidents, especially to Mrs. Helen Pascual, the president of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. I'd also like to greet Mrs. Esther Lily Pasion and Mrs. Mary Ang of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. To everyone, to my dearest students, colleagues, friends, and everyone tuning in this online session, a vibrant day. I am Nina Sumintak. I am the CTE GAD focal person of the Mariano Marcos State University, the MMSU CTE Golden Z Advisor, and an instructor one of MMSU under the Secondary Education Department. And welcome to my talk titled The Orange Activism, the Call for Gender and Development. Okay, so I think we can now begin with our session. Okay, so today, this is what we will learn. Okay, first, what is the 16 days of activism? What is gender-based violence? What is Zonta International? What is the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte? What is the MMSU CTE Golden Z Club? What makes the 16 days of activism a call for gender and development? What are the activities participated and initiated with the MMSU CTE Golden Z Club for the 16 days of activism? And lastly, what can we do beyond the 16 days of activism? Okay, so we begin with the orange activism. So I have here a short motivation activity for our viewers now. So for 2 minutes, okay, kindly type in the chat box your answer to this question. When you see the orange color, what word comes to your mind first? So it can be a verb, an adjective, or a noun. Okay? Again, for those who just tuned in, it's any word, as long as a single word. It can be a verb, an adjective, or a noun. Because colors, it symbolizes a lot. It means different, it's subjective, it's different from interpretation of each and every one, right? So let's see. Kindly type in the chat box any word that you can associate with the orange color. Okay. Especially now in the Philippines, today, by the way, is the start of a political campaign, and colors are such a big deal. Okay, but for this time, it's the orange color. Okay, let us check our chat box if we already have answers from our participants. Okay, so we have here from Sir Bernardo Guevara, a fighter. Wow. From Ma'am Julie, a fruit. Sir Christian, an orange. Should be the orange fruit also. Okay, same with Ma'am Sareb Sen, a fruit. Okay, so very interesting answers. Okay, just keep on answering. We still have 1 minute left. Okay, again, it can be an adjective, a description. It can even be Hermes if you want. Diba? The Hermes bag is a vibrant orange color. Okay. All right. So we have here very interesting answers. Okay, the orange color. It denotes a lot. Again, it's subjective. To some, it may look like positive. For some, maybe negative. Maybe some symbolizes orange because it has certain connection to themselves, or it also dictates their personality, right? Okay, so that's it. It's mostly about the fruit. I really like the answer fighter. Okay, because that is actually very much connected to the orange color for today's online session. Okay. Because like the color orange, you say fight, di ba? This time this is fighting against gender-based violence. Okay, the 16 Days of Activism's official color is orange. Okay, it says here orange the world and violence against women and girls. But why orange? Why not blue, yellow, pink, or neon green, right? Okay, because this is the chosen color by the UN Secretary General in line the UN's Unite to End Vow campaign. Unite to End Vow, or the violence against women, is a multi-year effort aimed at preventing and eliminating violence against women and girls around the world. So as a bright and optimistic color, orange represents hope and a future free from violence against women and girls, right? Because orange is a vibrant color that sparks hope and change. Oh, yan. That is why they opt for the color orange. Now, the 16 Days of Activism starts every year on November 25 and ends on December 10. Now, it's actually, as a history teacher, I find it very much significant because the start of the 16 Days campaign is always on the same day as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And for the last day of the 16 Days of Activism, it coincides with the Human Rights Day. It's two celebrations that are of significance and of great connection to our 16 days of activism. So again, don't forget, it starts with November 25, International Day for the Elimination of Vow, and ends on December 10, the Human Rights Day. Okay, so the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence is an international campaign to challenge gender-based violence. Which gives us to the next slide, what is violence? So based on the World Health Organization, violence is the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person, or against a group or community that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. Okay, so violence is not just physical, it has lots of layers. And one form of violence is called gender-based violence. According to the UN Commission on Human Rights, gender-based violence refers to harmful acts directed at an individual based on their gender. What is gender? Okay? What is gender and how does it different? What's the different concept, or how is it different from the term sex? Now, when we say gender, it is more on a socially construct. Okay, so when we say socially construct, this is what the society paint a certain person. Okay, so when we say gender, again, it's how the other people perceive a certain individual based on the norms, the roles, on how this person identifies himself or herself. Okay? It's a wider spectrum. So it's not just the male and the female. We have also the LGBTQIA plus, the lesbians, the gays, the transgenders, the bisexuals, the intersex, and the everybody else who's included in this spectrum. Okay? When we say sex, it's more on biological. So it's either male or female. It depends on the reproductive system of the individual. Okay. So what are the forms of gender-based violence? Gender-based violence can include sexual, physical, mental, and economic harm inflicted in public or in private. Okay, so it also includes threats of violence, coercion, and manipulation. That's the definition according to the UN Commission on Human Rights. Okay. Now, one of the national organizations fighting against gender-based violence is ZONTA. And they also have the 16 days of activism. Okay? So during the 16 days of activism, again, November 25 to December 10, all Zonta clubs and districts are encouraged to take part in the Zonta Says No to Violence Against Women campaign and to take local, national, and international actions to influence the making and implementation of laws, as well as changing gender based attitudes and behaviors to end violence against women. Okay, this is their flagship during the 16 days of activism. The Zonta Says No to Violence Against Women. Now let's get to know more about Zonta. Okay? Zonta International, well, since 1919, Zonta has been working to create a more equitable future for women and girls. Today, Zonta International is a global organization of more than 27,000 individuals in 1,133 Zonta clubs in 63 countries. This is their mission and vision. Their mission, Zonta International is a leading global organization of professionals empowering women worldwide through service and advocacy. And the vision, Zonta International envisions a world in which women's rights are recognized as human rights and every woman is able to achieve her full potential. In such a world, women have access to all resources and are represented in decision making positions on an equal basis with men. In such a world, no woman lives in fear of violence. Okay? Aside from ending gender-based violence, Zonta also advocates for gender equality, ending child marriage, expanding and access to education. Okay, again, it's not just ending gender-based violence, but also gender equality. Okay, promoting for gender equality, ending child marriage, and expanding the access to education. Okay. Now, included in these 63 countries that has Zonta is the Philippines. Okay? And in our own province, we have the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. The Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte was sponsored by the Zonta Club of Baguio in September 1978 and chartered on May 1, 1979. There were 15 charter members and Zonshan Maria Iranada was the first president. The members of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte continues their work to advance the status of women through service and advocacy. Okay. And under the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, we have our very own Golden Z Club. Okay. So through the Z and Golden Z Club program, Zonta members work to bring Zonta International's mission to students around the world and to stimulate new and meaningful student-led service and advocacy projects. Z clubs are formed on secondary school campuses or in communities, and the Golden Z are formed on college and university campuses. These student clubs are designed to provide opportunities for young adults to develop communication and leadership skills, explore career alternatives, and increase their international awareness and understanding through service. So the Mariano Marcos State University College of Teacher Education Golden Z Club is a student organizational club under the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. It operates as the student arm of the club and is involved in various community engagements. So if there are projects of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, that is for the youth. It is the Golden Z Club and the Z Club that operates hand in hand with them. And this is a certification we got. Okay, let me just read the citation. This certifies that the Golden Z Club of MSU CTE having complied with all requirements necessary for membership, ratifies and agrees to abide by the Golden Z Club bylaws. This is sponsored by the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte on the 14th day of April 2019. It was signed the National President and the sponsoring Zonta Club President. Okay, so that this now certifies the Golden Z Club under the Zonta International. So if we have here fellow educators who are watching now, if you're interested for your university or your college to have a Golden Z Club, you may just check in with zonta.org for other information regarding registering your own clubs. Okay, and then this was when they gave us a certification in the year 2019. So I was with now the area for director, Dr. Ligaya Miguel, and then the officers. We have also the one in charge for the Z Club. We have Mrs. Esther Lily Passion. We had the former associate dean, Professor Alili Martin, our former student affairs coordinator, Dr. Janice Asuncion, and the former principal of the lab schools, we have Professor or Dr. Jovenita Aragon. This was the first time that we met together and they gave us a certification as a club under the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. And this was our organizational chart. Okay, the current one that we have. I have 7 officers headed by the president. We also have the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, and then 3 directors. Okay. Now, this goes to the question now, what makes the 16 days of activism a call for gender and development? Okay. So, but before that, let us first define what is gender and development. Okay? Based on the Magna Carta of Women or Republic Act number 9710 of the Philippines, GAD or gender and development refers to the development perspective and process that is participatory and empowering, equitable, sustainable, free from violence, respectful of human rights, supportive of self-determination, and actualization of human potentials. These are the themes of which the activities which I will be sharing later on revolved around upon or based on. Okay? It seeks to achieve gender equality as a fundamental value that should be reflected in development choices and contents that women are active agents of development, not just passive recipients of development. Okay. Now, to further answer that question, I have here list of the activities that was done by the MMSU City Golden Z Club in partnership with the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, which I hope will inspire my fellow global educators to also perhaps recreate or adapt these activities under the 16 days of activism. First, we begin with what were the activities where we participated on. Okay, these were the activities that was spearheaded by the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, and we were invited to participate. Of course, we joined the opening parade in our orange wigs. Okay, so we wore our orange wig, and then we had a motorcade around the city proper. Okay, with the banner, Zonta says no to violence against women. So I was with my officers here and also the Zonchans of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. Okay. Also, we attended a skills training for income generating project. So we were taught how to create or how to bake like cordon bleu and how to sew, throw pillow and pajama making for future income generating projects. This was initiated by the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte and the Lawag City Local Government Unit, where they invited various housewives who wanted to also have another means of getting an income while staying at home. Okay, and if you look on this below the slide, okay, so they gave prizes for those who came in early. And fortunately, me and three of my girls was part of the first 25 registrants. So at the end, we were awarded with a kit consists of a textile and some sewing materials to start with the straw pillow and pajama making project. Okay. Also, on the last day, so after a very fulfilling 16 days of activism, they invited us, the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte invited us for induction and loyalty awards and Christmas program. So we had a get together, socialization. They also awarded the loyal members of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. And it was really very memorable. And we really enjoyed that night. Okay, so thank you for inviting us, Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. Now we move on with the projects that were initiated by the MMSU CTE Golden Z Club. Okay, these are the ones that it was us who wrote the resolutions or the hold on activity, and we presented it for the Zonda Club of Ilocos Norte for their approval. Okay. First, we had the webinar. Okay. So one of the highlights of our 16 days of activism was the webinar. The title was Know Your Rights, the Anti-Sexual Harassment and Anti-Vowsy Law. Okay, it happened last December 9, 2021 via Zoom. And we invited two esteemed speakers to talk about these two very important laws. Okay, one is Zonshan Nataliza Esliapitan. So her talk was titled No Means No, the Salient Features of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act. Now, this Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, or RA 7877, in this law requires that the employer or the leader of a work-related educational or training setting or institution offer processes for the resolution, settlement, or punishment of acts of sexual harassment. Okay? So it protects people from these sexual advances that is being conducted by those who are perpetrators of evil acts. Okay? So that is the lecture that was done by the registered or newly inducted Zonshan, Miss Natalisa Esliapitan, who is also the gender or the GAD focal point system focal person of the whole university of which I am working on. So she's our head. I am just the GAD focal person of the city, the college. For her, it's the whole university that she's holding. Okay? So, aside from the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act or the 7877, we also had Judge Nida Alejandro. Okay. So, Judge Nida Alejandro, a regional trial court judge, spoke about the anti-violence against women and their children. This is known as the RA 9262. Okay? This law defines violence against women and children as any act or a series of acts against a woman who is his wife, former wife, or against a woman with whom the person has or had sexual or dating relationship or against her child, whether legitimate or illegitimate, with or without family abode, which results in physical, sexual, psychological harm or suffering, or economic abuse, including threats of such acts, battery, assault, coercion, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. Right? That is in a nutshell, that is the anti-VAUSI law. Okay. And it was participated by a lot of our young men and women. We were able to have 1.2 thousand viewers, 1,200 plus viewers, and we were we were able to also had um, participants in the other province of Ilocos Sur. So we're very proud, and the students were very much engaging. We had a very long discussion during the Q&A because there's a lot of students who were interested to know more about these two important laws. Right. And if you want to watch a replay of that webinar, it's actually there in our official Facebook page, MSU CTE Golden Z Club. Okay. Aside from the webinar, we also initiated the 16 Days Activism online awareness campaign. Because of the pandemic now, we cannot go out in the streets often, right? So most of the students now are glued on their social media. So we use the power of Facebook to promote the 16 days of activism. It was done through our very own Facebook page, the MMSU CTE Golden Z Club. Okay. So in this Facebook page, for every day, we posted a poster, yes, where um, we had the plan for women to be inspired by quotations, by empowering posters in the, like, for example, the ones that you can see now on your screen. Like, we are here to be one, stand up for women, support women's rights by standing up and be by their side. Women support women, babae ka, hindi babae lang. Break the silence when you witness violence against women and girls. Do not sit back. Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty and truth and compassion against injustice and lying and greed. If people all over the world would do this, it would change the earth. Okay, so we have inspiring quotations and slogans, right, as our way of our online advocacies. Also, we had the Facebook DP Blast. I know if you're into Facebook, you're very much familiar with this DP Blast. Diba? The millennials call it the DP Blast. So it's when you change your profile picture, and by changing your profile picture, you also put message there and you encourage other people to also change their profile picture. Okay, and as you can see in this DP Blast, we use this one. MSU City Golden Z Club says no to violence against women. And these were some of those who joined us in our DP Blast, including our former Student Affairs Coordinator, Dr. Janice D. Asuncion. Okay, so aside from that, we also had the spoken word poetry contest. Okay, we called it the Golden Voice against gender-based violence, spoken word poetry contest. Okay, so this was the criteria for judging, and we actually had two categories. We had the women for women and the he for she. So for the women for women, this is a female category. It's open for everyone who are enrolled in the Mariano Marquez State University College of Teacher Education. And also for the he for she, it's for anyone in the male category. And with these categories, we had prizes to, of course, motivate and to give prize to the effort of the children who joined our contest. So these were sponsored by Mrs. Helen Pascual, the president of the Zonda Club of Ilocos Norte. So we had cash prizes and also gift certificates from Romantic Baboy. So it encouraged a lot of participants. We had a total of 15 participants all in all for the two categories. Okay. And then these were the winners of our Golden Voice against gender-based violence. Okay. And also for the he for she category. Okay. And then we also had the netizens' most loved performers. Those that got the most heart reacts. Okay. So they're also given special prize for that. And for the Golden Voice against gender-based violence, we had STEAM judges, one of which is Professor Jarrison C. Fabre, the program leader for the MSU GAD mainstreaming program. The university is currently having its GAD mainstreaming program. And it's Professor Fabre who is the leader, okay, of this program. And last year we had this project one. It's called the Trainers Training Level 1 for Gender Fair Education. That's the first phase. We had actually a total of 6 phases. And then we're done with phase one. Again, take note that gender fair education. Then we will have the project two. The leader will be Professor Reggie Fabre. And then project 3 will be under me. I'll be spearheading project 3, which is um, focusing on the mainstreaming efforts for the administrators of the university. And we will also have other one. It's a 2-year mainstreaming program. Okay, so aside from Professor Fabre, we also have Dr. Janice Asuncion, like the one I mentioned earlier, our former Student Activities and Services Coordinator, and also Dr. Mel Pasqua, the Gumil Club Advisor, also a faculty of the English department in our college. Okay. So those were the activities we did during the 16 days of activism for the year 2021. We also did activities with the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte year 2019 to 2020. So these were the activities. Let me share it to you. Okay. So before, when there's no pandemic yet, and we can go out without face mask, we joined the Walk for a Cause. Okay, the Walk for a Cause. So we went around the city proper, okay, campaigning for this one. It was a very special day because that was also the celebration for the 100 years of Zonta. And this is the iconic sinking bell tower of Lawag City here in our own city, in our own place. Okay. We also had the makeup contest. It was called the Battle of the Brushes, a makeup competition, Get the Golden Glam, of which students participated on. This was our winner. Okay, Miss Kim Corbito. She got the first place in the makeup competition. So the aim of this contest is for students to realize that there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup if it makes you confident, right? Because some people will judge you sometimes when you wear makeup. Okay, but in this we say, you know what, if it makes you happy, if it makes you more confident, why not? Okay, go on and wear makeup. We respect people who wear makeup, and we also respect people who does not prefer to wear makeup. There's nothing wrong with that. It's their personal choice. Okay. And then we had also induction rites. Again, this was pre-COVID. Okay, so we were joined by the Zontians of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, our dean, our coordinators, and of course the students who were inducted in this rite. Okay, so aside from social media, we also do advocacy campaign on radio shows. So it was through the Radyo ng Bayan, or Radyo Pilipinas, formerly called Radyo ng Bayan, with Zonshan Celipas. Okay. So Zonshan Celipas, every Wednesday, she has this Usapang Babae at Iba Pa, where she invites women to talk about, men and women, to talk about issues in our society. And any that is of interest. Okay? So we had Dr. Vida Vianto. We partnered, the MSU City Golden Z Club partnered with TWFB Radyo Pilipinas Labag to bring these special editions or special shows for the Usapang Babae. So we had Dr. Vida V. Antonio, a faculty also in our same college where I'm teaching. She talked about the narratives of a working mom, a post Mother's Day special. Okay. We also had Dr. Janice Asuncion with Mr. Leonardo Di Tejano, the chief of MMSU Ilocano and Amianan Studies. They talked about Ilocano honorifics, what happened to them. Okay. We also had Dr. Imelda Lorenzo Nahorda, the City Extension Coordinator, together with Mr. Mark Kevin J. Gorospe, the Student Council Treasurer, and they talked about Panangi Daulo Dagiti Babai, or in English, women leadership. Okay, and then me, yours truly, Ninya Sumintak, with Professor Jacqueline Belahano, we talked about love during the Valentine's Day special in this Usapang Babae radio show. So again, thank you so much to Zonshan Celipas for giving us the chance to promote our advocacies and also for giving us the time, okay, and for giving us chances, okay, and hopefully we could continue with our partnership. Okay. So, again, aside from online and radio show, we had also another webinar year. Last year, I'm sorry, we had the webinar for cyber crimes, cyber laws in the Philippines. Okay, we had Attorney Tia Crisologo Kua, who talked about how teens can protect themselves in cyberspace, and Attorney Sher Baring Asistin, and she discussed about cyber libel and identity theft. Okay. So we have here Zonshan Ligaya Miguel, the area for director, who gave an opening message for the webinar. And this one, okay, below, you can see my co-advisors, Ma'am Annabel Lianes, Ma'am Trishalita Limqueco, Pagtakonan. Also, again, our guest speakers, we have Director Ligaya Miguel, President Helen Pasqua, and Mrs. Esther Lily Passion, the one in charge for the Golden Z Club. Okay, so we also had this advocacy campaign to increase our online presence. So for every Monday and Tuesday, we post something special on our Facebook page. We called it the Monday Mind Day and the Tuesday. Okay? So for the Monday Mind Day, we would post about information about women who made a mark in our history. Okay? For example, we had Senator Magnolio W. Antonino. There. We also had, okay, on Tuesday, we have song reviews. Okay, so we feature songs that empower women, like Confident by Demi Lovato. We also had movie reviews, again, for women empowerment. For example, Wonder Woman, who was also directed by a woman director, Patty Jenkins. Okay. We also had an online advocacy campaign where the Golden Z Club members and officers posted this one, their advocacy using a paper that has the message. Okay, for the 16 days, they had like one student per day. And then aside from having that poster, they also put narratives in the caption. Okay, so those were the activities that we had. Now we also have planned activities for 2022. Okay, so for this month, February, we're planning to have this How You Dress Yourself This is a webinar on the tips on how to dress up oneself in any kind of event. It aims to help women to look presentable and confident always, like power dressing. Also, Golden Next Top Model. This is an extracurricular activity that aims to boost women's confidence. It will feature a competition where women can showcase their skills on dress styling. Because of the March, since in the Philippines, vlogging is such a thing. It's what the millennials love. So we have i-vlog mo na. So this is an extracurricular activity that aims to empower women. It will feature a competition where women can share tips on how to empower others through a vlog making. And from January to May, we'll continue with the Golden Trivia, an extracurricular activity that aims to share knowledge and ideas. It will feature different activities such as posting facts about women empowerment, books, song, movie reviews, and hobbies of women. And then we hope to continue with the golden hour. That's what I mentioned earlier about the one in the Sapang Babae. So this is an extracurricular activity that aims to provide awareness, advice, and important facts about certain topics such as leadership, rights, love, personality enhancement, and many more. It will feature 1 hour video that tackles the aforementioned topics. Okay, so 16 days is just a short time, right? So what can we do now after the 16 days of activism? What will we do with the remaining 300 plus days in the calendar? Okay, so how can we help? That's the question. So the UN Women published this article called Take Action, 10 Ways You Can Help End Violence. Number one, listen to and believe survivors. Because as we all know, it's hard to speak up, right? There's the stigma, there's the fear that no one will believe you. So we should listen and believe the survivors. It takes them a lot of courage to come up and speak about it. Next, teach the next generation and learn from them. Pass the truth to the next generation, teach them early what we learn late, right? Now that we're adults, we get to see things that we realize that this information is actually true. This actual information is actually false, diba? We learn something, we relearn something, we unlearn something. So in this slide, it says that you have to teach the next generation and learn from them too. Because the wisdom is not just on the old, there's also the wisdom of the young. And we should hear from them too. And for the young, you also listen to the old ones. Diba? Wisdom comes both ways, the old and then the young. We listen to each other, we learn from each other. Next, call for responses and services fit for purpose. Okay, services for the survivors of violence. Okay. See. Now, the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte have this free medical, legal, and counseling services for women and girls. Okay? The Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, Philippines recently launched a monthly program offering free medical, legal, and counseling services to women and children. The services are held every second Saturday at the newly inaugurated Zonta building located in the bustling center of Lawag City. The program has permanent regular rotation of 6 Zontian doctors of various fields such as gynecology and obstetrics, internal medicine, pediatrics, and ophthalmology. 4 lawyers are available for legal consultations and 2 expert psychologists for guidance counseling services. With the aim of making healthcare procedures, vitamins, medicine, and legal aid accessible to those who truly need them, the Pro Bono program has proved to be a rewarding success. Right? That is the service, one of the services provided by the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, a free medical, legal, and counseling service. Okay. Next, you have to understand what is consent. Okay. When is yes a yes, a no a no? Okay. For us to understand it better, there is this acronym, FRIES. Okay, FRIES. F is for freely given, R reversible, I informed, E enthusiastic, and S is specific. Okay? So it's more on this on sexual intercourse. It's freely given. It doesn't come with a price. It doesn't come with coercion. It doesn't come with manipulation. It's reversible. Like when you say yes now, you can say no later. It doesn't mean that if you say yes now, it will be yes all throughout. You can say no later on. Informed. The person must be aware that it is happening. So the person shouldn't be drunk or that has no, or sleepy or what, diba? It should be informed, aware that it is happening and it will happen. Enthusiastic. So when you say enthusiastic, the person should be agreed to that thing or to that activity. Okay? And specific. You should know your limits. What is the boundary? Okay? Also, learn the signs of abuse and how you can help. So in the Philippines, we have the VAUSI hotline. We have some PNP hotline where women can, or victims of gender-based violence can call for help. So we have in the PNP hotline and the Aling Police hotline. Okay, in our province, we have the Ilocos Norte Mental Health Center. It opened last year, October 9. So the provincial government of Ilocos Norte officially inaugurated and launched the Speak Up, I'm Here Center and hotline last October 9 at the Ilocos Norte Centennial Arena, Lawag City to provide psychological first aid to people who need mental support. Okay. Next, start a conversation. Yeah, talk about it. Diba? Talk about gender equality. Talk about how the actions. Talk about the 16 days of activism. Okay, remember Gender equality hasn't been achieved by all countries yet. Like no country has ever achieved gender equality. The problem on gender inequality is being felt by all countries. Whatever is the status of that country, if it's developing, develops, or underdeveloped, all countries experiences gender inequality. That's why in the UN's SDG or Sustainable Development Goal number 5, okay, one of their goal is for the world to have gender equality. For you to remember that, when say 5, like say high five, di ba? Parang you say high five to gender equality. So SDG number 5 of UN is number 5, gender equality, to achieve gender equality. Also stand against rape culture. Okay? See, look at the picture in your slide. Diba? Why I didn't report? Diba? They would ask these questions. Did you provoke him? Did you scream? That's what boys do. Do you have proof? When you drunk, were you drunk or high? You're exaggerating. What were you wearing? I don't believe you. Why now after so many years? Okay? Because of these questions and these perceptions by people, some victims would remain silent, which shouldn't be. We should offer them safe space for them to air out their concerns. Okay? So you even have the Me Too movement, if you're familiar with that, the hashtag Me Too movement, inspired by Taylor Swift, right? When she accused this person, this guy, who groped his her behind, who groped her behind. And she spoke after how many years, and people were, there were people who were questioning her motive and all, but she fought for it, and she won the case. Okay, next, fund organization. So it doesn't have to be dollars. Okay, so when you fund, if you have extra money, then you fund organizations to help them also get their resources. Okay, to pay also for the services, but you can also, above the financial help, the best we could do is also give the service, diba? Free service. Offer our free services, be a volunteer to these causes, to these advocacies, join different organizations like Zonta, okay, that will further the call of going against gender-based violence. And hold each other accountable, diba? To say you are not alone, that we are here. I will take care of you, you will take care of me. Diba? That's how we hold each other accountable. Okay? Next, know the data and demand more of it. You search, you Google, you go, but when you Google, make sure you get the right sources for you to have the right information. Okay, so now that you know, in one click, you can now get the information, the data, the statistics. Okay, information, read, and know the data and demand more of it. Just like what we did for the webinars that we have, like the last time that we had this Know Your Rights about anti-sexual harassment and the anti-vowsy law. Okay, so we have to learn more. Okay. Now, before it's almost the end of my discussion, I'd also like to thank the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte for giving us this plaque of appreciation. So this is just not me, but it's the effort of the girls behind the MMSU CTE Golden Z Club. Okay, so this is when we were awarded by the Zonchans of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. Again, it's not just me, but the effort of everybody behind the club. So we have Dr. Janice Asuncion, the former Student Affairs Coordinator, and also the one with us in um, creating or crafting the different activities that we did for the club and for the community. Okay, so we have, let me just mention the names of the girls. We have Joanna Divdad, Marie May Rosales, Nieve Cerezo, Raquel Agnes, Hannah Ruth Lumawig, Jihan Riz Aguinaldo. We had Suerte T. Maloong, Maria Micaela Mandak. We had Mary Angelica Ulep, Jasmine B. Gamponya, Riza May Curameng, Zyril May Queja, Zyrel D. Saladino, Laika May Kudal, Mayros R. Andres, Jamie D. Daria, Jade Eileen Benavista, Frances Ina M. Miguel, Ana Rose Santos, Aiza Grace F. Fernandez, Eileen de la Cruz, Jamaica Rose Domingo, Danica May A. Queja, Nina Justin Gwyneth D. Valdez, Trisha May E. Lagundino, Nikki T. Antonio, Cristina Kiana D. Calakal, Shamra A. Tamayo, and our president, Bernice Abigail Sinotarte. So they are the members and officers of the Golden Z Club of the Mariano Marcos State University College of Teacher Education. Okay. So thank you so much, girls, for joining us in the advocacy. And we also would like to thank the ever-supportive Zonshans of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, who supports our activities, who finances our prizes, for giving us ideas, okay, for us to do the activities that I mentioned earlier. Okay, and we were inspired by them. Okay, the reason why we had those activities was because we were inspired by our Zonshans, the dearest Zonshans of the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. Okay, and these are just some of the activities that they do to help the community. The Golden Z Club is active because we are operating under an dynamic and active Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. Okay, and these are and then this was during the opening parade. Again, we wore our orange wigs and we went around town to say Zonta says no to violence against women. And now let me end my talk with this quotation. So when we fight each other, we will defeat each other. When we fight gender based violence, we will defeat gender based violence. Most women fight every man, and most men fight every woman, thinking they are fighting gender based violence until men and women choose to fight the enemy, which is GBV, instead of fighting each other. That is when we will defeat gender based violence. It's not certain people or celebrities who should fight this, but it is everyone's calling. That's from DJ Kios. Remember when I asked you to tell me a word associated with the color orange? Okay, one of our global educators said fight. Okay, because yes, we will continue to fight to go against gender-based violence. Thank you so much for listening, and together we shall orange the world. Okay. All right. I think Sir So if you have any question later on, just type in the chat box. I can answer it
Thank you.
during the open forum of our session. Okay, sir?
Th- Thank you, ma'am, for your outstanding presentation today. Thank you very much. I hope our participants are also helpful from you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, we will come back after our quiz competition in our question and answer session. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Dear participants, after a short video clips, we'll come back to our quiz. আমি একটু পর দিচ্ছি। Dear participants, our today code is IGP quiz. The link is in comment box.
তুমি যাও না ব্লগ Ano,
now we have 52 participants. We start our quiz competition now. Let's start the games. Our first question is, what is the official color used by Zonda and UN Women for the 60 days of activism? It's blue or orange? 98% of our participants give the correct answer, and the answer is orange. On the leaderboard, Rommel Johnson Ecuno leading the first position, and the following Christina Mai. Our next question is, what event coincides with the last day of the 60 days of activism? Human Rights Day or the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women? Only 25% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is Human Rights Day. Our next question is, what month of the 60 days of activism ends? November or December? What month do the 60 days of activism ends? November or December? 43% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is December. On the leaderboard, Alex leading the first position. Our next question is, in obtaining consent, we must remember price. What is eyes in price? Inform or intense? 96% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is inform. On the leaderboard, Alex leading the first position. Our next question is, what is the C in the Philippines anti-bear law? Children or concern? Eighty-three percent of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is children. On the leaderboard, Alex also leading the first position. Our next question is, this refers to socially constructed roles, behavior, expression, and identities. Is gender or sex? 94% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is gender. On the leaderboard, Alex also leading the first position. Our next question is, What is D in GET? Department or development? 91% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is development. On the leaderboard, Alex now leading the first position. Our next question is, what is the global theme for the 16 days of activism 2021? 60 days of activism against child marriage, 60 days of activism against gender-based violence. 93% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is 60 days of activism against gender-based violence. Our second last question is, what is the inclusive dates for the worldwide 60 days of activism? November 25 to November 10 or November 25 to December 10? 93% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is November 25 to December 10. Our last and final question is, which among these is one of the main advocates of genre and in child marriage or no poverty and less hunger? 72% of our participants give the right answer, and the answer is ending child marriage. Congratulations of our top 10 participants. On the leaderboard, Alex now leading the first position, Cheryl in second position, and the following Carmela, our Ma'am Maribeth de la Cruz, Evelyn, Joel, Romel, Eguini, Lee, Ginalin. Dear participants, we start our question and answer session after a short video clips. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Ma'am, welcome back to our question and answer session.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everyone. It's question and answer session time. You can send your question in our comment section and make sure to put it one by one so that the speaker would understand it well. So don't hesitate to ask the question. Our ma'am also ready to answer the question. Ma'am, our first question is, do you also conduct any of the webinar based on psychology?
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Girisha Thaman, for the question. Yes, because the Zona Club of Ilocos Norte also have Zonshans who are psychologists. And one of the webinars, which I didn't mention because this was initiated by Ilocos Norte National High School Z Club, they had this webinar on mental health last year. So yes, we also conduct webinars, especially in this particular time that mental health, right? We put premium on mental health now, especially because of this pandemic troubles that we're experiencing. Yes, ma'am, we have.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question is from Brazil. How do you promote gender fair education?
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Reggie. He's also my co-teacher here at the MMS College of Teacher Education. Again, like what I've mentioned, we are having still having the gender mainstreaming program, and on the phase one last year we had the level one trainers training promoting gender fair education. So with that, we trained various faculty at the Mariano Marcos State University for them to know and be aware of the concepts of gender fair education. So we invited esteemed speakers from University of the Philippines Diliman, like Professor Caroline Sobrichea. We also had a speaker from Greece, who is currently the Minister of Education in Greece, who talked about and also shared her insights on gender fair education. So that's what we do. We have this currently having this gender mainstreaming program. And Sir Reggie will be the leader for the next phase, which will happen maybe next month or next month. And we're still training the faculty members of the university so that we will be more equipped and we could train also the community or other schools, right? So we equip ourselves first with the gender fair education concepts before we could share to people outside our university. Okay. Thank you, Sir Reggie.
Thank you, Sariji, for your question. Our next question from Mike. How can you track the progress of your programs?
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Mikey. So, since it is a student, these are student activities, we submit um, after the school year, we submit reports, of which in that report submitted to the university, um, that that holds student activities, there's the evaluation form. Like for every event, we have evaluation form where we let the stakeholders or the clientels answer so that we will know if this was a success or not. If there's something that we need to change, we need to to twist, or we have to adapt to changes, or the taste or the needs of the the status quo, diba? So that's how we track the progress. We do evaluation forms, and we also, like, we see the impact of these activities to the community and to the stakeholders. Okay,
Thank you,
hopefully I
ma'am.
answered your question well. Thank you so much for the question, Ma'am Mikey.
Our next question from Ma'am Etna. Hello, Ma'am Naina. How did you start Jonda?
Maybe Ma'am Edna May would like to ask, how did we start having a relationship perhaps with the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte. So it all started when the Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, because our alumna, we have Ma'am Dr. Ligaya Miguel. She's an alumna of the college. And she was the former president of Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte and now the area director, Area 4 director of Zonta, District 4. Um, gave or talked to our dean about it, and then we forged the partnership that until now we are enjoying, and we are very much happy and grateful for that partnership. So if you're interested, maybe Ma'am Edna May is a club advisor. Assuming Ma'am Edna May is a club advisor, you can go talk to the local Zonta club in your area. Perhaps there's one in your province or the one near you, and you could talk to them so that you can apply for the certification for the Z Club for high school and the Golden Z Club for college. And also, I'd like to add, if you want also to have to collaborate with us, we are also open for collaboration to other clubs. Okay, how to be a member in Zonta? That's from Ma'am Evelyn Waperi. Um, I'm not really sure about it, but you may visit zonta.org to know more about Zonta. It's in their website. You can read also more about their advocacies, their all of their the mission, vision, objectives, the projects that they're having, and also there's a contact information in zonta.org where you could communicate with Zonta International. And maybe if you have, again, local Zontas in your area, like for us, we have Zonta Club of Ilocos Norte, you may contact them. For sure, they will be very much welcome to have another member, Zonshan, in their community. Thank you so much, Ma'am Evelyn.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question
Okay.
is, how could you access the gender equality in our country, ma'am? And thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Mira Faye B. Timbang. Like what I've said, no countries yet, unfortunately, ma'am, there's no country yet that had achieved gender equality. So, although if you notice now, slowly, right, we are smashing patriarchy. We are now, like, women are allowed to work, diba? We now have house husbands, but the problem is more on the stigma, on the way people think, right? Even if now we have working women, okay, but there are those who does not yet accept those kind of concepts. So that's why we still have to push through with advocacies. Okay. um I attended before Miriam College for their it's also like a training workshop, and then it made me realize that what we are having now is because of the feminists, the people who fought for gender equality. Diba? Parang we are standing on the shoulders of giants. We owe a lot to them. And we, the people now, we have to continue with these advocacies so that someday, diba, we dream that gender equality will be present in all countries, especially in our own country, the Philippines. So we aim, we hope. It's not something that is easy to do. Diba? When remember we say, Greek wasn't built in one day. So there's a lot more things to do, a lot more steps, and we need women, men and women, to help each other for us to achieve gender equality. One of the misconception of gender equality is all women. Why is it all women? Diba? How about the men? Okay. This is the reality. Okay? In the status quo now, like the men are more advanced when it comes to career. Remember, we even had the concept of corporate glass ceiling. If you look at the list of the richest people in the Philippines, the business moguls, the tycoons, mostly men, right? The Ayala Zobel, the Gokong Wei. So it's still unequal. So when we say gender equality, we push for women's rights so that it will be equal with men. We're not pushing women's rights so that they will be above men. But the aim is for it to be equal. That's why it's called gender equality. Right? That's a very interesting question, Ma'am Mia. Okay. Thank you for that. And I hope I answered your question well.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question from Gina Lane. Good evening, Mang Mike. How important language is to get? And thanks.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Gina Lynn Villar Resurrection. It's very important. One of the lecture we had in the first phase of our gender mainstreaming program is having gender fair language, right? Even like the simple things like the pronouns. We ask them, what pronouns do you want? He or she, him or her. I even remember because I'm also one of the debate coach of our college. In the debate rounds that I witnessed and I adjudicated, before each participant start with his or her arguments, they would say, "I prefer the pronouns he or she. I prefer the pronouns she and her. He, him, she, her." Okay? Because this language is a very powerful tool, right? And we should use it to denote and to promote gender fairness, gender fair language. Because again, words can hurt. So we have to be very sensitive when it comes to this one. So, yes, language is very important for gender and development. Okay? Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next question is when will you conduct webinar on mental health?
Thank you so much, Ma'am Girisha Thaman. Perhaps, ma'am, maybe this year's 16 days of activism, we will keep that in mind. Okay, and this year's on November 25 to December 10, within those days, perhaps we can have a webinar on mental health. Please like our page, MMSU Golden Z Club, for you, ma'am, to be updated for our recent events, for our future events, rather. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, ma'am.
Ma'am Delia.
I think we have no more question yet.
Okay, thank you so much for those who gave questions. It's very much appreciated. If ever you have any questions later on, you may contact me at nmsumintak@mmsu.edu.ph. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable time with us. We hope we will meet together in another session in IJP platform.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much,
you, ma'am.
sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am. Dear participants, our yesterday webinar, the title is Energy Efficient Control Scheme of the Induction Motor Driven App, and the code is IGP3865. The code is IGP3865. Webinar number 349, and the title is Energy Efficient Control Scheme of Induction Motor Driven App, and the code is IGP3865. It's our yesterday webinar code. Today webinar is the Orange Activism, a call towards genders and development, and the code is IGP 4762. The code is IGP 4762. Without code, no one is eligible for certificate. With code, you can claim your certificate anytime from our website. And also, without an account on our website, you can visit only, but you cannot do anything functionally. Today webinar code is IGP 4762. Thank you very much for joining with us in IGP platform.